Coming up, storms ravage general aviation airports, learning to fly old warbirds.
Marking 70 years since victory in Japan, we fly on the last airworthy B-29.
Going to camp, aviation style, and flying the Tecnam P2010. AOPA Live this week begins in just a moment.
From your first skyward glance, the dream of flight compelled you. And from your first glimpse of a Cirrus, you realized that dream had a name. Cirrus Aircraft. Go where you've never been before.
Pilots and airport crews are picking up the pieces this week. Wild weather rips across several general aviation airports. Thanks for choosing AOPA Live this week. I'm Tom Hain.
I'm Melissa Rudinger. The skies have not been so friendly over the past few days. We begin in Arizona. 41 airplanes are damaged or destroyed. Hangars are also heavily damaged. An apparent microburst, 60-mile-per-hour winds rocked Chandler Municipal Airport. That's near Phoenix. And you can see on the screen that it tossed and turned these beautiful airplanes and crumpled them up, and it's just heartbreaking to see.
It really is, but more damage meanwhile in Texas. 5 airplanes destroyed, at least 3 more significantly damaged in a windstorm there. This is at the Hardin County Airport near Beaumont, east of Houston. Look at those tipped over Cessnas and ripped off wings. No injuries reported, but the airport's main hangar roof is in disrepair. The winds reached almost 50 miles an hour. The National Weather Service says it was a microburst.
But it's all sunshine at the AOPA regional fly-ins. Our regional fly-in at Anoka County Airport just near Minneapolis is just over a week away.
And the Golden Wings Flying Museum in Anoka is home to an incredible collection of 1920s and 30s airplanes, many of which will be on display at the fly-in.
My name is Greg Herrick. I'm the owner of the Golden Wings Flying Museum. This is a collection of airplanes mostly from the 20s and 30s. Hopefully you'll have an opportunity to see them when you come to the AOPA fly-in. But just in case, I'm going to give you a little bit of a primer here. Let's take a look at some of the airplanes in the museum. This airplane is a 1936 Fleetwing Seabird. What's interesting about this aircraft is the material it's made of. If you look at it, you might guess it's made of aluminum, but in fact it's not. This is the world's only flying steel airplane. This material is stainless steel. The reason it's stainless steel is at one point airplanes were transitioning from a tube and fabric design to an aluminum design. Well, the steel industry wanted a piece of the action, so in the mid-1930s they thought, what is better to demonstrate the capability of steel than a stainless steel amphibian? So they commissioned the design of this airplane. The problem is, stainless steel is a very, very difficult material to work with. They built 5 of them. This is the only one left. This airplane is, at the moment, a car. It becomes an airplane by attaching the wings and a tail to it, and it flies. It's a 1954 Taylor Aerocar. People say, how does it fly and how does it drive? Well, it's not a fabulous airplane and it's not a fabulous car, but it does have over 16,000 road miles and about 750 flight hours. You know, we're hearing more and more about alternative aviation fuels, and of course diesel fuel is one of them, basically Jet A. Where did that start? It started right here in this airplane, which made diesel-powered flight for the first time on September 19th of 1928. The aircraft behind me is a 1936 Stinson trimotor. It was the last of the piston-powered trimotors built in this country. It's quite a bit faster than the Ford trimotor, as an example. The Ford cruises at, 90, 95 miles an hour. This aircraft cruises at about 160 miles an hour plus. It's a very interesting ship. It has retractable landing gear, which no other trimotors had, and is a real piece of history. This Ford trimotor is perhaps one of the most historic aircraft flying today. Among other things, it's the world's oldest flying all-metal airplane. It's been flown by Charles Lindbergh. Amelia Earhart flew this airplane. The first man over the North Pole flew this airplane. The first man over the South Pole flew the airplane. It's very, very interesting and very historic, and I hope you have the opportunity to come and look at it when you're here at the AOPA Regional Fly-In.
You can find out more information at aopa.org/fly-in. Don't forget to watch the video about the fly-in procedures and download the NOTAM information.
There's an advocacy win to tell you about. The FAA has agreed to an AOPA requested delay in implementing changes to the flight plan requirements. The FAA had planned to require all flights use the ICAO flight plan format beginning on October 1st. The ICAO format is already required for international travel, but this change would mean that the format, with some modifications, would replace the domestic flight plan. AOPA asked that the aviation community be given an additional 6 months to make the transition and to become familiar with the form.
And speaking of international flying, some Texas-made turboprops headed to Israel to fight fire. The Israeli Ministry of Defense is recently taking delivery of 6 more air tractor air tankers. The firefighters are used by a contractor squadron under the command of the Israeli Air Force. There are now 14 air tractor air tankers in operation across Israel. Moving now to the UK, the Red Bull Air Races are about to roar through England. Britain's Paul Bonham is looking to keep hold of his Red Bull Air Race World Championship lead at his home race this weekend at Ascot Racecourse, just west of London. He'll have to fly exceptionally well because Hannes Arch of Austria and consistently strong Matt Hall of Australia are closing in on the 2-time champion. There are also 2 Americans vying for the cup, including AOPA Ambassador Michael Gullion. Good luck, Mike. We'll bring you coverage of this race in the series next week on the program.
What has 3 doors, 4 seats, and the first new high-wing design in decades? It's the Tecnam P2010. And AOPA's Al Marsh shows us it's a great little slice of Italy.
Presenting from Italy, the latest design from Tecnam's Luigi Pascal, the Pascal 2010.
I think this airplane was an eye-opener to me when I first started flying it, because it's been a long time since I've had the opportunity to get into an aircraft that I said, wow, this is something that's the future. But this is the first time I've seen a natural, what I would consider a generational change in the aircraft. Where else has it been in history that we've really made the move of utilizing a power plant that used to make an aircraft only go about 105 to 110 knots and lift about 700 pounds? That same engine is now lifting 1,000 pounds and going 140 knots. Everybody's amazed with a couple of major points. Number one is they actually can't believe it's a 3rd door. I never thought that just having a 3rd door in an airplane would be such a major impact, but it knocks you over when you go, why didn't we think of this before? Because there's none of that crawling over. The people in the back feel normal when they get in it. It feels very comfortable. The other impression that people get with is how stable it is on the ground and how easy it is to taxi. We want this to feel like an automotive experience for people. That's why you'll see the 3-point harness instead of a 4-point harness. Take a look through the interiors. What do we expect in our cars? We expect our seats to go up, down, forward, back, and recline in different positions to make us feel comfortable. So the price to purchase one of these for our initial slots is $345,000, because we're only selling the G1000 as an option at this point, and $369,000 will be our normal retail price. This is a real cross-country airplane that passes the foursome test. It passes 4 200-pound gentlemen and their golf bags in the back with 2 hours plus a 30-minute reserve of fuel. Go take off and have a good day.
What you'll notice first is the sleek engineering of the design done, as the model name implies, in 2010. Flight controls have a solid, predictable, truck-like feel. As I found out, the castering nose wheel is not only easy to adjust to, it's fun.
Oh, maybe one more time. Anyway.
It literally turns on a dime.
That was cool. Mixture's full rich, flaps take off. On the right side, we're clear to take off, and we're good.
The takeoff lasts longer than an aircraft of comparable speed like the Cessna 182, but the 182 needs a lot more horsepower to get about the same speed as the P2010. Once it's up there, the speed climbs into the 130s, 132 on the day I flew it. The aircraft is designed to provide no surprises, stalling gently with an easy recovery, and solid during steep turns. Just like a 182, the P2010 tends to land flat, so special attention is required to make sure the touchdown is on the main gear first.
Yeah, you're gonna hit it. Oh yeah, right in the thousands.
But enough of the technical details. This airplane just looks good in the sky. Al Marsh, AOPA Live.
Wow, very cool, Al. You can read more about that speedy Italian in the September issue of AOPA Pilot Magazine. The digital edition is out now. Coming up after the break, want to learn to fly a warbird? There's a camp for that.
And flying the Grand Dame of Warbirds. We honor VJ Day with a ride in FiFi, the B-29. You're watching AOPA Live this week.
It's been called the most sophisticated single-engine airplane ever. But to the people whose loved ones are alive today, it's called a lifesaver. The Cirrus Airframe Parachute System, only from Cirrus Aircraft.
Welcome back. You're watching AOPA Live this week. The headlines are grim, but the alarm is false.
Last year, the number of fatal accidents was higher than it had been since 1998, but our experts say that doesn't mean it's a trend.
The way to look at this is over time, how are we doing? And if you look at 2011, 12, 13, every year, year over year was better. 2014, slightly worse. And so we'll see how 2015 shapes up. And it is on track to be a pretty good year for safety.
This chart shows the fatal accident rate for the year as compared to last year and the FAA's not to exceed number. This year, we're 10 fatalities below where we were to date last year. AOPA is working with government and industry partners to help raise awareness of loss of control accidents and how they might be avoided. We'll show you one of those efforts next week on the program.
Meanwhile, there's even more reason to be alert when flying. The FAA says the numbers of pilot reports of unmanned aircraft are way up.
According to the numbers and the feds, there were 238 reports in 2014. So far this year, we're already above 650 reports. The FAA is warning drone users that operating them around manned aircraft is dangerous and illegal. They want users to know about the Know Before You Fly campaign. That helps drone operators determine where it's legal for them to fly. The AOPA is a part of that program.
It's back to school for kids across the country this week, but some are going back with better stories to tell from their summer. AOPA technical editor Mike Collins shows us the Ascend Summer Camp, where kids get hands-on with aviation.
For 6 mornings in June, young people streamed into Rowan County Airport in Salisbury, North Carolina for summer camp. But this wasn't any summer camp, it was an aviation-themed summer camp.
Keep it square, okay. Now squeeze those hands all the way together back there, and you'll be just right. That's it, perfect. Go. All right, let's check it.
The camp has been conducted for 5 years by members of EAA Chapter 1083, which is based at the airport. Each camper took away a wide variety of experiences, from how aircraft and their instruments operate to fabric covering and riveting. The week was capped off with Young Eagles flights on Saturday morning.
Thanks, Mike. What a great way to bring the next generation into aviation.
And well, that's a great program for the kids, but our friends at EA have a camp designed to make grown-ups feel like a kid again. The Ultimate Warbird Trainer Fantasy Camp is happening in September, and those who go will get some instruction in the PT-3 and the T-6. Attendees will receive in-depth ground instruction on both aircraft, capped off by, get this, 30 to 35-minute flights in each airplane. Spots are filling up fast. Jack Pelton, wherever you are, sign me up. If you want to learn more or sign up, head to ea.org/fantasycamp. Warbirds from World War II changed the course of history. And this year, we mark the 7 decades since the end of the war.
August 15th marks 70 years since victory in Japan. D-Day Day happened after B-29 Superfortresses dropped atomic bombs on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. We are mindful of all the sacrifices made by the world during that time.
Now we leave you this week with a ride on FiFi, the Commemorative Air Force's B-29 Superfortress, currently the only one flying.
We'll see you again next Thursday for another edition of AOPA Live This Week.